أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحابته ومن اتبع سنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, we are continuing to address the dynamics of life in the Quran, and today, maybe for a few sessions, we will focus on the dynamics of family life. Since family is the foundation of any society, and society is the context in which everybody lives, so we need to know how the dynamics in the family impact the formation of the family and the society, producing peace, belonging, as well as a safety net for every family member. And what is our role in achieving those goals? When we talk about the dynamics, we talk about actions and reactions, interactions, expectations, viewpoints, perceptions. All of those factors constitute the dynamics inside the family unit. Family, as we all know, is the institution with which we are all very familiar. Either as children, we know what family is for us, or as adults. But unfortunately, we do not study family, especially as indicated or declared in the Quran, so that we live by the book that ordered us to marry, and whom to marry, and what to choose for marriage. What are the criteria that if you look forward to, it will give you the family you should be happy with and you should be willing to sponsor, support, and promote and protect. Some of us are not having a happy family because of the elements that we did not use in the beginning of building the family, which you could call the foundation for the family. One of the foundations that constitute a pillar inside the family to promote a healthy relationship is that family is based on initial mutual acceptance. You look at someone, you think she's fit or he is fit, and you start asking, the process goes on, you start to get to know each other. What is this? It is about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he says, Al-arwahu junudun mujannada. Souls are like conscripted soldiers. فَمَا تَعَارَفَ مِنْهَا ائْتَلَفَ. And I want you to pay attention to this. Any two who get to know each other well, they can constitute reasonable relationship, functional relationship. فَمَا تَعَارَفَ مِنْهَا ائْتَلَفَ. They start feeling positive about each other before they start feeling positive towards each other. So they agree to explore and get to know each other. Yes, I want to see him first and then we can talk. So once we start getting to know each other, we do something seriously damaging to where we should be heading, which is cultivating lovely, idealistic personality rather than the one we actually have. While this is not bad completely, but it becomes very bad when we decide to turn things around and make a U-turn. But if you start by showing your best, that's normal. We all do that. In any new relationship that you want to nurture, you show your best, you do your best, you say your best. So you are very selective, you are very choosy, you are very particular about what? What are you building? You're building a character image in the mind of the person or people that you are projecting yourself to. But then, once we get to the contract and the wedding and we are living now together, we start laying our guards. We start looking for the other foot, different from the foot we put first forward. And that constitutes both a betrayal and a reason for shock and sense of insecurity. If you start your life like this, your life, your marital life, will be quite shaky, unstable, and not very rewarding. This doesn't mean that we should not put our best foot forward. We should. Otherwise, we'll never build business, we'll never build partnerships, we'll never build relationships, we'll never have security for ourselves or others around us. So putting the best foot forward is not the problem. The problem is when we decide to get the other foot forward. And the Quran spoke to us that we have two sides to our soul, which is the wicked side and the righteous side. As the Quran tells us, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So when I want to borrow money from you, I do not show you my worst. I don't come across as demanding, pressuring, manipulative. I come across as a nice person who deserves your trust so that I can get what I want. Likewise, when a person wants to convince another person to marry them, we do the same. Why then change becomes serious and shocking and disruptive? It is because you lay a foundation for the other person to trust your character while hiding part of your character. And you are hiding it temporarily and you are willing to get it out of the store when you feel either angry or dissatisfied or come up with any negative feeling or negative impression. So Islam tells us that marriage is initially established on basis of mutual acceptance. If the wife doesn't accept you, there's no marriage. If the husband doesn't accept you, there is no marriage. Period. On what basis do we accept each other? It is on those, what I regard as sometimes deceptive projection and presentation of my character as a perfect husband, a perfect wife, while I know that that's not me. But here's the good news about this approach. The good news is you discover through the length of your period of engagement, you discover that you have the capacity to exercise self-control over your negative side of yourself. Whether this engagement is 3 months or 10 months, it's a period of training yourself to always control your negative side so that once you win the lottery, you don't squander all what you get, which many people do by deciding, I want to be myself, I want to be normal, I cannot walk all my life on eggshells. But it was those qualities that earned you the $1 million. Why shift? Unless you see, and some of us do, unfortunately, that you have other ways to manage the relationship despite the dissatisfaction of your spouse. And here is where wickedness comes in. So every side now is starting to want to control the relationship, because when the shock comes and we discover that each side has some more human elements to them than what I had expected, what I had been presented with, we lose the security sense that we relied upon in the beginning. And that only can trigger fear, instability, feeling unsafe, feeling that the future is in danger, and all of those factors combined together makes us nervous, anxious, unsettled. And when pain accumulates for a long time, it also can create a sense of even depression inside the relationship. I'm sure you've come across brothers and sisters who are very good with the outside world, but inside their relationship with their spouses, they are not even meeting the minimum expectations. Why? Because they shifted. Their comfort zone is not coming from their spouse. Their comfort zone now is outside the family. So they engage the community, they are servants in the community, are very active and very helpful and very nice, but they don't give enough attention to how their marital life is going. So the primary issue upon which the law would prevent the marriage from going on, which is mutual acceptance, that acceptance starts to fade away when we start putting the other foot forward. While we might have remarked and pointed this issue before, but I am taking a longer time to explain this dynamic because it is at the root of family disintegration, divorce, and breaking even the society we belong to and the community we regard as ours. So it is important to be consistent. Consistency here means the reasons that you were accepted as a spouse, man or woman, is your decency, your caution, your pre-calculation before you spoke, that you second-guessed yourself several times during the engagement period, that you always was keen to earn the respect and the continuous acceptance of your potential spouse all the time. You did not discount the importance of that relationship. In fact, you did the opposite. So the primary issue here is nurture the acceptance you cultivated until it reaches a level of trust that must be then sustained as soon as we get to the wedding and living together. So, from superficial acceptance that's based on hope and aspiration to the trust that you can use to build a relationship, when you start actually the decision to go for the logistics, we'll do the party, the wedding, the invitation, where do we live, everything is ready, the logistics are being worked. This is a period that you start building something to show that the trust you earned is worthy of investing in for the other side. So people who start acting as their other self, if you will, they lose that trust. They never reach that level of trust. And the most successful person in building trust with their spouses are the ones who end up gaining very thin, superficial layer of trust. Because trusting somebody with your safety, with your security, with your provision, with your protection, with your education, with your relationship, with your future, is not an easy fit. It's a huge fit. So, if you start your marriage quicker than you should, before building enough layer of good trust, you will have nothing for your spouse to bounce on without hurting their back or breaking their arms. They will be jumping on a solid iron stuff. It will be your sense of insecurity fighting against their sense of insecurity. Your fears compounding their fears, and their fears compounding yours. So two people who are living afraid of each other, I don't know what he's gonna do, I don't know what she's gonna do. She started to complain, he starts to complain, and instead of focusing in the first few months to few years on focusing on building something very important, which is a process that you can describe as synchronization. To synchronize your values with their values. To synchronize your expectations with their expectations. Without synchronization, you will always run into clashes because you are judging what is going on from a different perspective. You are a separate and independent person. You are not your spouse. And you should never expect your spouse to be you. In this synchronization process, there is a big flaw that comes in, where when everybody tries to twist each other's arm to reformat the other person according to their liking, that creates clashes, that creates discord, that creates misunderstanding. So the way forward is not really to try to discover the flaws of each other. The honest way forward is to put your own weaknesses on the table with the most sincere intention, a plan to work on those flaws. Being honest is a cause of comfort, a cause of trust. And without comfort, without trust, no relationship can continue. So, in the synchronization process, you set your values, that you know and her right, you know your duties, so that you don't him or her, and you do not and become enfranchisement. So here, some that I wanted to go set between husband on a window. You do the contract and say to marry you on the foundation of the Sunnah. This is different from I accept to marry. See the difference. You think something that I'll give you right for, and not impose imagination. You on which beginning. We have to be considered. We have to always our level to the, that we are up together. But things go wrong, face crises, people face challenge, family and destroy what you and neighbors and misguide us, separate. Did not forget that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فَاللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. You come across agreement, fight it or go who has two knowledge of life. Knowledge of Islam is knowledge of life experience. Where do we get this from? Let's understand this as cited. In Surah An-Nisa, Allah Ta'ala says, "Tum shiqaq فَبَعَكَمًا min ahlihi wa hakaman ahliha." It is saying you start seeing of discord and dispute from some the outsider, send a judge. The word for judge is hakam, the significant knowledge. What's the knowledge? Knowledge. Hikmah is how to the knowledge you have in the context of conclusion. So of the are knowledge, wisdom. Min ahli or hakam, anyone from ahlihi, whether they have knowledge, have wisdom or experience. And we have legal authority for the persons proper judging. But that's true. Some to their own parents because of negative experience. Hakam should come first with knowledge, then of the family, her side of the family. A second education to separate patients is required. One is complementary. In one complementary, Hakam or the judge and her family, and Hikmah, the mental